With the extreme heat hitting southern Nevada, animal rescue organizations are concerned about the number of strays that will be on the streets. The day after the 4th of July is usually the busiest of the year for shelters as dogs get out during fireworks, scared by the loud bangs. And right now, many rescues and shelters do not have room.
Every shelter that you see is pretty much at capacity or near it, and we are no exception.
At the Animal Foundation, they are preparing now for what they know is coming.
We're pretty much already all hands on deck when it comes to this week. On the night of the 4th, we will have extra folks in our enrichment team. Basically just do what we can for the animals here with the fireworks.
They're making an adoption push, trying to get some of the 700 animals here out of the shelter and into good homes to clear shelter space.
There's been an overpopulation issue basically since the beginning end of COVID with everyone getting puppies.
Ahead of the 4th, they are asking owners to make sure pets are secure.
And keep them inside, make sure that they're relaxed, do anything that you can to prevent them from getting out.
In case pets do escape, make sure they are microchipped or at least have a secure collar with contact information.
If they find a lost dog, odds are it's in your neighborhood where it lives. So if you can just, talk to your neighbors, post on social media, anything you can do.
Lost dogs are usually found within 2 miles of home.
So we do our best to get everybody home.
Henderson Animal Control says the city shelter only has about 5 empty kennels right now, and they know those will fill up.
We'll probably be around like 95 to 100% capacity after the holiday.
So both the Animal Foundation and the city of Henderson have adoption specials going on ahead of the 4th. At the Animal Foundation, adoption fees are waived for this weekend for all adult dogs and cats. There will also be no reclaim fees July 1st through July 11th. At the city of Henderson shelter, any animal over 1 year old can go home with you for half price.